Now let's go ahead and work on the back of the holster. Okay, and I think for this one, I'm gonna go to my scope mode. And I'm gonna kind of fix this up. I don't like how it just got way too small around this area. Go. Bring down the strength of my grab brush. And just gonna lift this up. And maybe make this slightly smaller. And go. Alright, now I think looking at this, what we could do is we could make this a separate piece. I think that would make this look a little nicer, and just to add a little extra detail. And then we're gonna have, so this is gonna be an extra piece there, separate piece, and then we could add some buttons here that will connect this to the bottom part. Okay, so I'm gonna go to my masking, and I'm gonna go ahead and mask this out. Mask this out. There you go. Yeah, right now I do not have front faces turned on because we do want to mask out the faces on the front and also on the back. And we go to our mask in sharp and demask. Alright, now we could go ahead and go to mask, and we could go ahead and mask slice to new object. So that will make it a separate piece. There you go. And yeah, after that, maybe we could also go to our scope mode, and maybe we could inflate this slightly. I'm gonna go to the mask filter here, inflate, and just drag it slightly to the right. Alright, like this. Yep. Okay, and I'm gonna go ahead and remesh that. And I think I could go ahead and bring this down to 0.008. So we have more geometry to work with. I'm gonna go remesh that. Right, and it looks a little funky on the edges. So what we could do is you go ahead and from the back part here, we could let's see. Yeah, for the back part we could go ahead and fix those edges. And a way to do that is we could use our line project here. So we go ahead and do this. So you see how we have something much better. And also this going in this direction. Slice that out. Okay. And I'm gonna go ahead and go to this part. I'm gonna go to scope mode, and I'm gonna go ahead and just gonna bring this down. This. We have a little issue with the geometry for the X part, but we could fix that. Okay. Same here. Good. Go ahead and lift that up. Alright, and I'm gonna go to the X part. I'm saying X part because we kind of have this shape, except, you know, it's just filled. Okay, so I'm gonna go to scope mode and just gonna go ahead and remesh. There you go. Alright, so of course, the way this is gonna work is this actually has to be below the surface. So I think I'm gonna go here, I'm gonna go to scope mode, and I'm actually gonna go ahead and lift that up. And you know what? We could go to our scale tool, set origin to geometry. We could go ahead and scale it like this to make it thinner. And I'm gonna go ahead and G, Y. Yeah, so just kind of make it thinner like that. Okay, and I'm gonna go to rotate tool and just kind of rotate this. Okay, I'm gonna go to scope mode, and this here could, yeah, actually I'm gonna go to this part. I'm gonna go to scope mode for this, and I'm gonna go bring it down like that. And then this, I'm gonna go ahead and lift it up, and this way. So this is gonna be connected to there. Looks like part of this is probably, it looks like it's mask. I'm gonna Alt M. Yeah, that was mask. I'm gonna Control R to remesh that. So yeah, that's okay. And I'm gonna go and smooth it. And I'm gonna pull that up, pull this up. So it's basically connected underneath the surface of this area that we have just made here. All the way down and all the way up, and have it sink in. Pull this back in. Okay, I'm gonna go to my scrape brush and just scrape this area. I'm gonna go to my grab brush and just gotta pull this back in like that. Okay, and I'm gonna go to this part, go to scope mode, and I'm gonna go ahead and move this in this direction. Yeah, I'm gonna go to my smoothing and crank on my smoothing. And just gonna push that in. And push that in slightly. Pull this up. Alright, and I'm gonna go to my scrape and just slightly flatten this area out and just kind of a little smooth. And move this down, pull this up, pull this back down. Alright, and another thing that we could do is we could add kind of indication already where we're gonna have our circular button part here. So we could go to our scope mode. Yeah, I see a little issue, so it says non-uniform scale. I'm gonna go Control A and apply all transformation, and I'm gonna go to scope mode. I'm gonna go ahead and mask this area out, mask this area out, mask this area out right here. Okay, Control I. Maybe a little too big. And then I'm gonna go to my move and set pivot to mask border. And I'm gonna go and move this here. Alright. Actually, before I do that, I'm gonna go to my mask and sharpen that. Okay. And set pivot to mask border. And just pull it up. Okay, and then we could go to mesh filter and we could do a little smoothing. Drag your mouse to the right, and actually we could just go and smooth this out ourselves. Hold shift and smooth it all down. Alright, so we got something going. Okay, very nice. And another thing that we could probably do to add a little spice to this is we could maybe later we could add another. Let's go here. Scope mode. If you want to really visualize this, you could also like add a little bit of more detail around here. And I think I'd rather do that after we were topologize this. But I think we do have the basic shape down. And I think I also want to kind of think about how the stitch is going to look like here. So maybe I go to my draw sharp and I'm going to go crank up my intensity. Alright, and I'm going to go to stroke, stabilize stroke, crank up the radius, and crank up the factor. And I'm going to go ahead and check out how this looks like with a seam. Okay, I'm actually going to make this, since I'm doing some curve here, it's not fully straight, I could bring this down to 100. The stroke rate is 100 and a factor to 0.8. And I could bring down my intensity for my draw sharp. Alright, and yeah, so it's just a visualization. And just coming on down. Yeah, and this one on down. Like this. That. As I mentioned before, we are going to be adding stitches in Substance Painter. So this here is just for pre-visualization. The more and more details you add on your mesh, the more you're going to be able to see which areas needs to be fixed. And coming on down. And some down some more. Like this. There you go. And here, still got that there. And you know what? I could go ahead and Shift H. And I'm gonna go to scope mode. And I'm gonna go ahead and do this area. This one. Go ahead and go down. Also here. Going on down. Okay. And this one, I'm going to go and come on down. I kind of don't like how this is too curvy. It might be taking too much of the shape of the body. So something like that, lift it up. I might have made it a little too thick. So. Alright, and I'm going to go back to my draw sharp. And just continue on with adding the line. Also here. Alright. And I'm gonna go sculpt mode and show everything. Okay. And I think for this probably is going to have that. Yeah, later on we are going to be having this too probably. You don't need to spend as much time maybe doing this because it's only for pre-visualization. But it's good to have this there. Just gotta try to see how your stuff is gonna come along. Yeah. All right. And probably on this part here, you could probably going to add some stitches around this area. Shift H, I'm gonna go to sculpt mode. So this is also, what we're doing here is a good thing to do, so we could kind of see where the areas would look good for the stitches, you know. Oh, it's now 100% symmetrical, so I'm just gonna go and turn this off, the symmetry, which is fine. Later on, once we retopologize this, we could always make it symmetrical. Yeah, I think this will look good like this, and maybe also coming around like that. And on down, this, and then this way, and this way here. You kind of, as you do this more and more, the more you'll get used to this, of course. And when I first started out doing these kind of straight lines, oh man, that was a mess. It was a mess. But definitely with editing, it takes a lot of practice, guys. And maybe for the pouches around this area here, the pouches, thinking about this here. So here, maybe we could combine these, right? So we could select this. Now we could make some changes. We don't have to stick 100% to the design as what we have. Shift H. Yeah. So I'm gonna select these. Control J. Control R to remesh that. Go to sculpt mode before you remesh it. And you look like I still have masking there. Alt M. Control R to remesh that. And now we could go ahead and add some clay on top here. And remeshed. Gonna go to my smoothing, drag that all the way up and smooth this out. So it's like kind of combined there, right? And for this, you could probably go ahead and mask out this area right here. Alright, Control I. Yeah, I think for this one, I could go my grab brush. You're gonna bring this down, this little design here. And maybe even here. Good, go ahead, hold Control. Do this. And I think for this one also. All the way right over here. This is the only area here that I want to touch right now. Maybe I could go ahead and kind of bring this down like this, like that, and bring this up like this. And I'm gonna go to my masking, hold Control, unmask this area, grab brush and move it this way. Okay, and I'm gonna go ahead and go to my draw sharp and then make like a division here. I'm gonna go ahead and turn off my stroke. Yeah, I think a very nice division here would give us some more detail. Yeah, I think that definitely works better. Alt M, Control R to remesh, and of course smooth it. Okay, yeah, I'm gonna go to my scrape brush and just gonna scrape this area out, smooth that out, smooth it. And this one could have a little bit bubbliness going on, so there's still like some kind of design of a division there. Yeah, now it looks better. It's gonna look a lot cleaner once we go to the refining part of this. Now you want to stay away from making the corners too round, because that means if it's too round, it'll just look stylized, you know. And I'm gonna go to my clay strip and gonna push this in, smooth it. My grab brush, look at a little lumpy in this area, straighten that out. And I'm gonna go ahead and scrape this, scrape that. Could also go to the flatten brush and flatten this area out. I'm gonna crank up my intensity, flatten the area out, flatten the area out. Yeah, I'm gonna go to my remesher and I'm gonna bring this down to 0.009. So we got more geometry to work with and remesh that. Okay, and I'm gonna go to my draw, grab brush and pull this up. Go to my scrape brush, scrape this area out. And I'm thinking that for this here, we could probably add some stitches on the edges. I think that will make it look a lot nicer. I'm gonna go to my draw sharp, so you can go ahead and test this out. If I go ahead and just go all around this. And I'm gonna go to my inflate this up, smooth it. And maybe I could go ahead and add a little bit of division here. I'll add a bit more detail to this. Yeah, so maybe the stitches could go around like this. And even stitch is gonna be here. See how that looks? Yeah, I think that will work. And even all around like this. And yeah, it's gonna come around. Stitches are gonna be here. And also around this area, right? Yeah, maybe could come around like that. And here, come around like this. All around up to here. Maybe it's gonna go this way. This is the reason why we're doing this now, so we could see what's going on. So maybe going down like this would be better than going around that way. Just think about how the flow of the stitches will be. Yeah, I think something like that would be good. See what we're working with. And of course, we're going to be adding leather texture here also later on. I'm thinking we definitely need to add a buckle area here. I think that would make it look nicer. So I'm thinking of maybe something like this at the back or on the side, something like this. That will add more details to the piece. So maybe on the side we could add something like that. Yep. Yeah, I think something like that would be nice. Yeah, right now, we're probably gonna do that in the next video, okay? But yeah, we are definitely on a roll here with our holster.